What's going on, everybody? My name is Houston Burnett, and today we're going to be talking about the most lucky programs in college football history. This is Houston Has a Problem. Let's get into it.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
All right, so today we are talking about the luckiest college football programs in America. But first, I've got a handful of honorable mentions before we get into the list. First and foremost, the Boise State Broncos. The 2006 Fiesta Bowl was a game for the ages, but no one can deny that there was a little bit of luck from the boys from the Smurf turf. Second honorable mention is the Utah Utes, who had an unbelievable run in 2009 to beat Alabama, and ever since they've joined the Pac-12, have had some honestly lucky breaks, including some big-time lucky wins over their chief rival, the BYU Cougars, who we'll also see later on this list. Third, the TCU Horned Frogs. A little bit near and dear to my heart as I sat and watched in the rain-soaked Death Valley, South Carolina, where they were able to get a tip pass into the end zone to score and knock off my Tigers 14-10. But that's not the only time they did that. The 2011 Rose Bowl, they were able to pick up a few lucky breaks to beat Wisconsin Badgers in the Rose Bowl. Speaking of teams who got lucky and beat Clemson, we're talking about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But let's forget a little bit about that game this year. We're talking about the 2012 Fighting Irish, who inexplicably won multiple games on their way to a national title game. And lastly, the Florida Gators. Now, you don't have to look far for any kind of miracle for the Florida Gators. Just look at the 2015 and 2017 wins over Tennessee with just inexplicable catches at the end. That's why they earn at least a spot in my honorable mentions. But enough about them. Let's move into the real deal, big time list of the luckiest programs in college football. And first on the list, number 5, the University of Southern California Trojans. So our number 5 entry, the USC Trojans, enter on this list, have a multitude of games that I could have picked. I could have picked the 2011 Oregon game where they inexplicably won and beat a team that was in the top 3 in Autzen Stadium. I could have picked the Rose Bowl from 2016, but you have to go with the Bush Push game from 2005, in which it seemed like the USC Trojans were on the ropes. The game was on the line, and a 4th down pass completed to Dwayne Jarrett got them all the way down into the goal line area. And later, the infamous Bush Push is what led to USC jumping all the way to the end of the season, where they were able to play in one of the greatest games ever against Texas. Next up, we have number 4, the Ohio State University. We're not talking about the team that made it to the national championship game this year. No, they were very talented. What we're talking about is the litany of other teams that have victimized the Big Ten, especially the 2002 Buckeyes, who won 7 one-possession games, including one of the most controversial endings in national championship history, the ending of the 2003 Fiesta Bowl, in which the game went to overtime, and it looked like the Miami Hurricanes were going to pull it out. It was 4th down and goal, and Ohio State had to convert, and it looked like they didn't. It looked like that Miami had won their 2nd straight national title, but a delayed flag came in, and a pass interference call got the Ohio State Buckeyes a 1st down and goal again from the 2-yard line. Ohio State punched it in, scored again in double overtime, and held Miami out in one of the craziest endings, and what a lot of Miami fans will say is the most controversial ending of all time. Right dab in the middle is number 3, Georgia Tech, a team that's near and dear to every ACC fan's heart. I could pick from a litany of games that they've victimized the Clemson Tigers with, or the Virginia Cavaliers, or the North Carolina Tar Heels, but I have to talk about what happened in 2015 with the Florida State Seminoles. Bear in mind, this is only the 2nd time the Noles had been to Atlanta in the decade. The last time they'd gone down there, the Noles had fumbled in the end zone before they scored, losing the game 31-26. This time, the Noles had the ball and a chance to keep their hopes alive for the playoffs. Instead, the field goal at the end was blocked and ran back by Lance Austin, giving Georgia Tech a 22-16 win with a blocked kick 6 at the end of regulation. Number 2 is a team that most people around here, at least in South Carolina, won't know about, the BYU Cougars. And I referenced them earlier in our honorable mentions with their chief rival, Utah. Okay, these two teams hate each other, and they have some of the funnest games to ever watch. The early 2000s especially, BYU lucked out on several plays. So I'd implore each of you to at least go back and watch some of they call them the Holy Wars. Please go back and watch. But the game I'm going to talk about in 2015, BYU rolled into Nebraska, where they were able to win on the final play of the game, a Hail Mary that got BYU the win 33-27. Unbelievable. And BYU's done that to everybody they've played, not just Nebraska, but what a freaking ending of the game. And last, but certainly not least, the luckiest program in all of college football, our number one entry is the Auburn Tigers. Now, I could talk about every single SEC, and ACC, and Pac-12 team that's been impacted by the Auburn Tigers. I could talk about Mississippi State or Georgia or Ole Miss or Clemson or Oregon, but I have to talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide and what happened in 2013 when Alabama rolled onto the Plains, ranked number 1, had just given up a tie ball game and had 1 second left to take the lead. Instead of making a 57-yard field goal, Chris Davis took the ball 109 yards back for a touchdown, vaulting Auburn into the SEC title game and eventually a national title game berth. If you can't call that a miracle, I don't know what you can. Number 1, inexplicably, unbelievably, and absolutely is the Auburn Tigers. All right, guys, that's my top 5 luckiest programs. Make sure you get in the comments and tell me if I've missed any or if you think there's more that should be included in this list. And don't forget, every week to check me out on the Morgan Thomas Show. Like and subscribe at the bottom to get notifications on when we'll be going live. And make sure to give me a follow on Twitter at Houston_SLC. Once again, at Houston_SLC. And next week, we'll be talking about the unluckiest programs in college football history on Houston Has a Problem. We'll see you next week.